Okay, so we're all set up in the room. How are you feeling?
Nervous.
Nervous? I'm not surprised about that. Suddenly it gets to you, doesn't it? I mean, the procedure today is going to be what? They're going to come in, they're going to...
So today they're going to do the hip replacement, which I believe they're going to make an incision on the side of my hip, and then they're going to replace the hip. I think it's just about an hour's operation.
Oh, that's not bad. So you should be away and back here in time for tea.
I'm hoping I'll feel like tea, but I suspect it may not be something I want to partake.
Okay, so how do you feel now? You've had the anaesthesiologist or anaesthetist in, and it's getting real now, isn't it? You're definitely going to have an operation this afternoon, one way or another. So, does that increase the nerves, decrease the nerves?
I think it's decreased a little bit because you know what's going to happen. The more you know, I think the less nervous you are. And I'm keen to have it because of the pain. It's made me a little bit nervous about afterwards because that's made me think that I won't be in terrible pain from the operation because that will all be under control. So that's nice to know.
It did emphasise, I think he really did emphasise the fact that it's an invasive procedure, and therefore after the operation there is going to be pain in terms of operation pain. And he did emphasise that, I thought he did anyway, that the initial anaesthetising the area from the injection will wear off, and you will need the extra medication that you're going to have to take. So it does seem to be rather sensible to take that medication when you're offered it, as opposed to just refuse it because you don't feel pain, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's very true. And in fact, everything you read says you should take it, because if you let the pain get too bad, then you're going to feel really bad, your temperature can start to rise, etc. So yes, I think you're right. The important thing is not to refuse it because you're not in pain, is to take it and make sure that you don't end up in pain.
Yeah. Of course, on that note, we have the example of me who refused all medication after a head operation where they drilled through my skull because I didn't feel any pain. So I thought, well, no point in taking medication if you don't feel pain. And then halfway through the night, I was absolutely in agony.
Which explains why they couldn't find your brain.
Which explains why they couldn't find a brain when they drilled through. Okay, so that's yes. Good advice.
That's a good example to me, and that has stayed with me. So
hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and my idea is not to follow that example.
My misfortune hopefully has helped you through this.
Yeah, it's taught me something.
Okay. All right, so the surgeon's just been in. How do you feel now, and what do you think he's enlightened you with?
So the good news was that he said, all the information you're told about dislocating your hip really isn't that relevant. So he told me I can sleep on either side straight away, which I've been told I wouldn't be able to do. He told me I wouldn't need a riser on my toilet. He said it may be a bit more comfortable, but it's not necessary. And all the information you're given about not sitting on a sofa that's less than 18 inches, he said I don't need to worry, that the risk of dislocating it, you'd have to twist your leg in a really awkward position to actually make that happen. So that's really good news, because I was worried about that. The not so interesting news, or the not so good news, is that I have to take blood thinners for 28 days. 10 of those will be injections, and then on aspirin for 18 days. So I didn't realise that.
That's really for deep vein thrombosis stuff. So
stop me getting blood clots. So I'll have to do that for 28 days. And other than that, it was pretty much exactly as he told me. He said, my leg may feel a little bit longer to begin with, he said, but that's not unusual, because quite often when there's arthritis, it actually feels a bit shorter, so it will feel slightly different afterwards. But that wears off in a few days once you get used to it.
Yeah, he actually said, didn't he, that he could feel from the tension in the muscles where the right position of the hip was, which is quite interesting.
Because, it is something that you read about, that you can end up with one leg shorter than the other, but he did say that he can feel where it should go so that doesn't happen.
I think he implied to a certain extent that it's more before the operation, one leg has shortened, therefore you feel it's longer.
Yeah, he did imply that.
As opposed to anything else, didn't he? Anything else you took from that?
No, I don't think so. No, anything you took from it?
No, I think that's about it. And you're now just half an hour to an hour before going down.
Yes, so hopefully he said I should go down to surgery somewhere around 2. Surgery will be an hour, recovery will be about 45 minutes. And then hopefully I'll be back.
So the only other thing I did take from it, I suppose, was that it can take half an hour to properly anaesthetise you.
Yes.
That was interesting. I thought it was instant.
Yeah, me too. I remember it being instant.
Yeah,
and
well,
I've had it
I think
done
you
before.
go out, but they're doing more stuff after you've actually just initially passed out. So that's
Yes.
interesting. So just looking forward now to the next half an hour to an hour, and then it's whoopee with new
Absolutely.
hip.
Yep.
All right.